fascist. Oh, we played in Milan, and the police took us the audience. It was something that developed over the evening rather. And the promoter, it was a huge, great oval auditorium sort of thing, you know, football. And the promoter came up to me, not me, no one said me, I was looking at him and thinking of people. There was like smoke going up at the end of the auditorium, and he said, tell them to stop lighting fires, he said. So like a lot of puppets, he said, will you please stop lighting fires, you know, it will continue when we stop lighting fires. We carried on, these puppets were kept carrying out. And he came and told us again, you've got to tell them to stop lighting fires. And we got somebody out the audience to try and, he said, you speak English? He said, yes. Well, look, when you tell them that it's impossible for us to go on and listen to something like this, we just got all the mics so we would keep that revolutionary Che Guevara, so we had to be fair enough. And so it went on and on and on, and then one of these fires sort of went off near us, and the smoke came this way, and it's tear gas, and it was only the bloody police firing at tear gas at them every time they stood up to applaud.
Oh, really?
Anyway, we suddenly knew what the score was there, so we tried as best we could to try and, because when you've got a language barrier like that, especially with very fiery continentals, you ain't got much of a chance, have you? But we tried, anyway, we did the best we could, and what happened in a matter of, 10 minutes after that, was that somebody threw a bottle up, because it was an oval like this, the police were all round the top of the catwalk, and a huge great riot squad, because we saw them when we went in and we said, what the devil's all this about? None of them backstage, mind you, nobody looking after the group, so it was obviously just an antagonistic move. Somebody threw a bottle up at the police anyway, after being showered with tear gas for about an hour, and then they let them really have it, and it was panic, real panic. And the group, we just came so close together that night. It was amazing, really was. Because it was a sort of thing. It was it made you really lose faith in humanity at that point. Just wondering what it was all about. And to feel, the thing that really hurts on when things happen like that, is the fact that they've come along to see you for a good night, and that's what they get. Well, it had happened a couple of times before. One of the groups that it had happened to had been Chicago. No one had said a dicky bird about it. Either that or it had been hushed up.
But it was put in Milan as well?
In the same place. The promoter wouldn't say anything because the promoter pissed off. And I remember we got to the dressing room and people were trying to beat their way into there because they thought that it was like an immune area. They thought we might have gas masks in there. We were really having to sort of protect our lives. And then after all the roadies tried to stay on stage to keep the gear and they passed out. And the gear was sort of nicked, obviously. And then when we went out to try and get the roadies back, there was this bloke, he had bad legs and he was crippled, he had crutches, and they just ran over him in the panic. And it was all provoked by the police. Totally provoked by the police. It was perfectly orderly. Until they started all this trying to, so irresponsible. So
was there nothing happening
after the, Yeah, they were all right. There was no sort of, sinister really, or anything going on. The police were miles away. They couldn't really see what they were doing anyway. They were just surrounding them. That's all. And as people were coming out the doors, I think they were getting a whack as well. Because you had to come out these side entrances and start that way, really trying to suppress this thing that they were afraid of. I mean, it had been a bit like that in the States a couple of years beforehand, but they'd suddenly realised that there was nothing to do, social paranoia just wasn't needed. It was all right, it was cool, people were just enjoying themselves and being very orderly, but they hadn't come to terms with it in Italy, in a fascist state like that. Well, we got back to the hotel and a reporter came there, and he said, "What's your comments, sir?" And I said, "Well, did you see it?" And he said, "Oh yes, I was there." And I said, "Well, don't ask us our comments. You saw it, you know what happened, you know the police provoked it, now write it." And he said, oh no, I'll lose my job. And I said, well, don't bother to ask me what my opinion of it is. I'm just disgusted.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Anyway, that should have been quite a big scene, national, shouldn't it? Don't you think that the group gets tear gassed? Christ.
And what are the police like in other countries? I mean, they're obviously not
well, we keep away from anywhere where it's like that. We thought Japan might be like that, but Japan is lovely. We once seen student riots and wondered what it was going to be like, but it wasn't like one feared it might be at all. The only other one that we did cancel out was South America.
Right, you think they're a bit like that?
Yeah, and Spain as well, it'd be a bit like Italy.
Yeah. So what within the group world, it gets around, does it? What countries are dodgy and what others, what ones aren't?
Well, I don't know. I know other groups who do. Milan is supposed to be the black spot for it, but I wouldn't touch Italy again. Wouldn't want to know about it.